What's up, everybody? Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Will Motivation, and in today's video we are talking about my biggest monthly expense as an entrepreneur, as a supercar owner. And before I get into that, let me introduce Lambo Beast right there. That's Sean's Lambo, and this is my Lamborghini Huracan, supercharged by VF Engineering, and it's crazy fast. Check out this clip. But yeah, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about as an entrepreneur, as an investor, right? So I have 3 different businesses. I have a software business, I have a social networking business where I do events and things of that nature, and then I also have a real estate investment company that helped me afford the toys like this. So like I said, this is my Lamborghini Huracan 610-4 supercharged by VF Engineering. I also have a Lamborghini Aventador SV, and I have what else do I have? I got a work truck. I got a Audi S3. Hopefully I'm going to be upgrading that to an Audi RS3. So I have some expenses, right? Oh, I also have a Ferrari F12, and
F8.
as you can see, right now we're at Ferrari. And if you didn't see the video, we just spec'd out a Ferrari F8 Spider. So with all of these different expenses, also I own real estate, I own a bunch of houses and stuff like that, right? So if you add up all of those houses, mortgages, my personal mortgage, and owning cars like this, you might wonder, wow, like somebody like that, are they drowning in debt? Are they drowning in expenses related to those things? But what I'm here to tell you is, as an entrepreneur, what is my biggest monthly expense? And then we'll talk about how we feel about that and everything. All right, so out of all those things, the mortgages, the car payments, and all that kind of stuff, but key word, I'm an entrepreneur. What is my biggest monthly expense and how much is it? So first I'm gonna tell you roughly how much is my biggest monthly expense, all right? And my biggest monthly expense, it amounts to every month, roughly comes out to about $44,000 per month, about 44 grand a month. And my biggest monthly expense is payroll. So paying my employees, paying my contractors. So as I said, I'm a software engineer by trade, but I'm an entrepreneur by lifestyle, and I own like 2 or 3 different businesses, like I said. And monthly, what I pay, like the category of expense, the biggest one. And the funny thing is, the second biggest one is actually pretty big as well, and that's marketing. It fluctuates between 11 to 15 people that I have to pay every month, like a monthly, salary plus commissions and stuff. I have some people that get paid. Like last year, I had about 3 people that made 6 figures, maybe more than that actually, on my team. So you add that up every year. Yeah, payroll is my biggest expense. So the reason why, like, some of you guys are probably like, oh, I was thinking it was gonna talk about like a house payment being the most, or a mortgage, or a car payment being the most, or a mortgage. No, like, in order for you to have this kind of car, you have to have an investment, or have to have like heavy income coming in from something. And usually it's an investment or a business, or a really high paying skill that you might have, like as a salesperson for like a high paying product, for example, right? And you got income coming in from that. And in that case, maybe your most expensive thing would be like a mortgage or a really fancy car or something like that. But for an entrepreneur or for an investor, their expense is probably gonna be taxes. Like when they take money out for their investments and stuff, their biggest thing is gonna be taxes. Now, if I include taxes, are taxes more than my payroll? I don't think so. My payroll is still more expensive than my taxes. But the reason why, like, I wanted to share this with you guys, the reason why this is important is if you like this kind of thing, if you like these supercars like this Lamborghini Huracan 610-4, these cars cost like roughly a little over $200,000, maybe a little more than that. A couple $100,000 car. And In order for you to be able to afford that, you gotta have investments, or you gotta have businesses generating significant income, right? Every year, 6 figures, 7 figures a year, so that you could then justify buying a car like this. So when you get there, the thing that you're gonna have to be aware of, if you have a business, how do you make that business run? How can you scale that business, right? If you're doing everything yourself, it's really hard to scale without having people, right? So you gotta start hiring people. So I started hiring people for my business back in like 2004 is when I first started hiring people. I hired my brother, my sister, my friends, like a couple of my friends, and immediately that was the most expensive thing I had to pay for and make sure I could afford to pay every month. So a car, when we start talking about car payment, let's say you buy one of these cars, it's 200 grand, you save up 100 grand and you put 100 grand down, you get a loan for the car for $100,000, and your payment is going to be, let's say you stretch it out 10 years or 8 years or something like that, your payment is going to be like $1,000 a month, between that and $1,500 a month. That's it, right? A month. But imagine you hire one employee. That one employee nowadays is going to be at least 3 grand a month, maybe 4 grand a month, maybe way more than that, right? So if you have a business, that's why, like, once you start running a business and you're paying people $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month or whatever, it makes something like this way more attainable, because you're like, man, you know, I'm paying like 10 people that much money. So for me to get a car for $1,500 a month or $1,000 a month, if I can afford to pay all those people every month and save some money and grow my business, then buying a car like this is more of a realistic thing. All right, so now you're probably wondering, all right, so when you get to this level and you start buying cars like this, it's not the car that's going to be the most expensive thing that you're paying for, or probably shouldn't be. It may be the employees that you have because you're running a business, or maybe it's the taxes you got to pay because you're making a lot of money with your investments, right? But okay, I got my business set up, I got my investments set up. Now, how much money do I need to save to be in a good place to get one of these cars, right? So for me, this is just me, right? I don't even recommend this for everybody else, but just for me, because I don't like to get anywhere close to being broke. I wanted to have in cash the value of the car before I bought the car, even when I was going to finance the car, so that I could pay for the car, I could have a rainy day fund, I can make sure I can pay all my employees and all that kind of stuff. So for me, like, if this car costs 200 grand, I want to make sure I had 200 grand in cash, aside from my investments. And you got your monthly expenses going on with your payroll and everything you got to pay every month, knowing that you can more than pay probably 3 times that if you had to. You could cover that, you know what I'm saying, in a bad month. So you're saving money every month. How much you need to save every month is depends on like how much income you have. But when you get a car like this, you know, like, it shouldn't be a stretch, you know. It shouldn't be a stretch for you. You should be good financially, you know. And I'm not a financial planner. I'm just somebody that is real sensitive about going broke, and I never want to go broke, right? But at the same time, here's the other thing to consider about these cars, right? You get a car like this in the economy that we're in right now. These cars have been going up in value. So, like, you know, I bought my car for $208,000, and on the market it's probably worth $260,000 at this point. So that's another thing to think of when you get these cars. A lot of times, if you lose anything, it's minimal, but you have the chance of maybe making a little bit when you sell it. You know what I mean? That's different from if you bought a Corolla or something like that, you know, and you bought it for $14,000, and a couple years later it's worth $9,000. You know what I mean? So whereas these cars have been going up in value recently. Now, it's not always like that, and I don't count on that, but hey, that's what's been happening. Wheel Motivation, hit that subscribe button. Come see Thomas if you want to buy a car.
It's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm here to tell you guys to go to Wheel Motivation. The exotic cars is crazy. I've been watching this show for a little while now, and it's growing. But we need everybody else to subscribe to Will Motivation and support Will. I'm supporting him. You do the same.